welcome back. So, I'm going to give you the awareness of how to manipulate your internal workings so then you can be okay within that moment, within the present moment, conscious, aware of what's happening. But it does take practice. It's a practice. Wax on, wax off kind of thing, you know? This is just a pure, straightforward tool to really becoming more of what you want to be and sharing that with other people, because really what gives me the most happiness and what I found is actually giving more of myself, of where I want to go, to other people, which is going to be different for everyone. Everyone has their own direction, you know, and stepping outside your box of fear and anxiety is one way to achieve more happiness within yourself. So yeah, it's fantastic. So okay, there's a few things that we would need to become aware of first to actually be able to analyze your fear, your anxiety, to make a difference within your environmental space. I'm going to start off by talking about biology. I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, you talk about biology. Wow, this isn't about biology. But if you know more about yourself, you can actually then become aware of what's inside, what's actually happening. And the more you know, the more you can actually change. Because if you don't know it's there, you can't change anything. That's one thing I picked up. So, what actually creates fear and anxiety? It's these chemicals and drugs within your system that are triggered by a thought, or a pre-set thought, which turns into an emotion, or a belief, should I say. The more you have a thought about a particular thing, an event, an experience, the more it wires into your brain. It literally creates new neurons. When you have a new thought, whether or not it's good or bad, based on a fear or a happiness in your life, it creates an emotion. And when you hold an emotion for an extended period of time, that will turn into a belief. And then that belief is held within your subconscious. And the subconscious is that habitual mind that really holds on and lets you become really good at something. So what are you really good at? Are you really good at sports? Are you really good at writing? What are you good at? What is that muscle memory for you? But what we don't realize, or lots of people don't realize, is the fact that when you get really good at a fear-based program or a fear-based thought, which leads to an emotion, which turns into a belief about who you are, you can't actually step outside that box unless you realize it's there. You know, that fear-based emotion leading to a fear, to a belief, and then that belief is, this is who I am. I can't do anything else apart from, or I can't do that. I can't do this. That's not who I like. What I like doing. But really, you don't really know, because you haven't actually experienced the fullness of that event. And there's certain things that actually might not enjoy, but you don't really know until you've actually stepped outside that fear-based program that you've created within your mind, and experienced it fully. And a lot of people lock themselves in those boxes and say, no, I can't do that. That's not me. I don't enjoy it, because one time in my childhood, I ate carrots and I just fucking hated them. Pardon me. I ate this thing and I didn't enjoy it. I mean, there's certain things in our taste palates we won't like, but you know, within reason, there's a certain experience that you've had that, let's say you talk to a girl and they put you down, or you've gone for a job and now you think you're terrible at interviews because there's one particular guy or girl that just didn't like you, or has shit going on in their lives that, you know, really affected them on that day, which then defines you as, I'm not good at interviews. So you find you struggle in an interview to actually express yourself, because you're worried about that person being the same person that you experienced in your past. And really, they're not. They're completely different people. Everyone has their own experiences, their own happiness within that point in time. So the action's never going to be the same, and you can't know what's going to happen. Currently, there's no way to know what's going to happen. So when we bring our fears of the past into the present, it really defines our actions in that present moment, which holds us back from being more, or accessing more, or experiencing more of what can actually happen within our lives and what we can experience. So now we've really defined what fear and anxiety is in our lives. It's basically bringing the past into the present, which defines the future. That really helped me become aware of the fact that I was bringing all this junk I'd experienced from my past, which really said, I am this. I'm nothing else. I can't be anything else apart from what I've experienced, which means you can't actually grow into anything else, which really locks you away in this box of complacency of yourself. And when really you're just free, you're a free agent to do, be, experience anything you want, literally anything. Your mind is so powerful in its ability to, let's say, define your reality. And a lot of people say this, what is defining your reality? What is creating your reality, let's say? And your biology actually does this precognitively. There is experiments that have been done by Joe Dispenza where your biological responses actually are precognitive within the experience that you're having. Say you're watching a video or a movie or something, or you're meditating, whatever it is, depending on your circumstance. There's actually scientific proof where they analyze the mind when you have an experience, when you've had an emotional response to something, that your body is a precognitive machine. It actually will send and create the chemicals and responses in the brain even before the actual event is happening and you've experienced it, to actually cognize that in your mind. So your body is a machine. It is perfectly made. It actually runs before your mind does, if that makes sense. You can actually experience an event, and your body, your chemicals are actually making that happen before you've even actually thought about it or experienced it, which is amazing. It just blows my mind. So the drugs in your body that your body creates, within your system, really define how you feel. So you have a thought that leads to an emotion, and the emotion is drugs within your system. But if you actually change the thought during the process of these chemicals starting to build, you can actually shift where they go and what's made within the body. And I guess the trick is, how do you do that? How do you shift from one perspective of fear, anxiety, anger, frustration, whatever emotion spectrum you have, to I'm okay, I'm safe, it's okay right now, I'm not physically dying, I'm not being stabbed by someone, depending, you never know, you could be, but most of the time you're not being stabbed or threatened physically by someone, not these days, and if you are, run. So the first thing that needs to happen is you need to become aware of your system, your body. What is actually happening within your body? And there's certain awarenesses that I will proceed in following videos to mention. But step one, become aware of your emotions. How do you become aware of your emotions? You already are. You don't need me to tell you how to do that. They're already there. So how do you change anything? You need to become aware of what's happening. So you're within your body, you're feeling an emotion, feeling an experience of, let's say, something you don't necessarily like. You're feeling scared in an interview. How do you become more confident and project your voice and act confident when you're faking it? It's like fake it till you make it, but how do you fake something when you've never experienced being confident in that experience? So you really got to become aware of your emotions. Your emotions define what you're feeling, obviously. So, thoughts define emotions. Emotions are created by thoughts. And so the more you think about something, the more you create emotion about it, the more you create emotion about it, create a belief. Thinking, feeling, acting. That's how it works. And then believing.